ComC.com is your home for buying, selling, and flipping all the hottest trading cards. Their consignment marketplace is home to over 24 million cards across all sports, genres, and eras. With a ComC.com account, you can purchase cards from different sellers over time and ship them home together later, or immediately reprice them for sale on the ComC marketplace. ComC is excited to welcome collectors to our booth in person at the 2021 National Sports Collectors Convention. It's taking place from July 28th to August 1st at the Donald E. Stephens Convention Center in Chicago. At this year's event, we'll be doing free live box breaks, live industry panels, autograph signings, and much more. Come visit ComC at booth 624. To stay updated with ComC and our events at the National, please follow us on social media at Check Out My Cards, one word, on all platforms. To learn more about the exciting changes being made at ComC, please visit blog.comc.com. You're listening to the WaxPackHero Sports Card Minute, a podcast where we discuss both the hobby and business sides of collecting. I'm your host, Mike Summer, and I want to help you buy, sell, and trade your way into a collection you'll love. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the WaxPackHero Sports Card Minute. Today is the first of two national-themed episodes that we're going to run in these final couple weeks leading up to the big event. Today I'm going to cover a dozen or so tips for attending the National. They'll be especially relevant if you're going to be attending for the first time, but I think anybody might find some value. They're largely based on a blog article that I wrote a couple years ago and refreshed again for this year as it pertains to attending in Chicago, and I think people will find it helpful. At least the feedback that I've received on the written article has been helpful so far. So I hope you enjoy that. And then next week, we're going to have Ray Schulte on, and he is going to talk a little bit about the National, the plans for the National so far, what it was like to plan for this year's event with so many unknowns and the record number of expectations that people were having and the excitement that exists in the industry. So we're going to have Ray Schulte on next week to talk a little bit about the event and the plans for the event and what it was like preparing for such a unique event this year. One of the things that I'm looking forward to at the National this year is getting a chance to meet the guys from Underdog Collectibles in person. They're an online shop run by collectors for collectors, and they break new product every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday night. But in addition to being an online shop, within the last month or so, they have now opened a brick and mortar location in Knoxville, Tennessee. So you can go check out their shop in Knoxville near the University of Tennessee campus in the University of Commons Shopping Center, and you can actually watch some of their breaks live, as well as check out their selection of wax and singles and other memorabilia and things like that. Check them out at udogcollect.com to see what they're breaking this week, and then check them out in their store, and whenever you do, make sure you tell them that WaxPackHero sent you. All right, let's go ahead and get into the tips. Now, in 2021, the National Sports Collectors Convention returns to the Donald E. Stephens Convention Center in Rosemont, Illinois. This is going to be the 41st National, and early signs are pointing it to be one of the most attended shows in the show's history. There's going to be over 650 exhibitor booths that are going to fill 400,000 square feet of space, and it's going to provide all kinds of collectors and dealers an opportunity to immerse themselves into cards, autographs, and other memorabilia from all different eras. The National website says if you can't find what you're looking for at the National, it probably doesn't exist. And I'd say there's some truth to that based on my experience in the past. Attending the National is an awesome experience for collectors. And so whether this is going to be your first convention or whether you're a seasoned veteran, there's some tips and strategies that I put together that can help you make the most of your trip. Inside, this conversation today, I'm going to share 13 things that you need to know before attending the 2021 National Sports Collectors Convention. First of all, the details. And while the 2021 show is generally referred to as the Chicago show, it's actually in the Donald E. Stephens Convention Center in Rosemont. And this year's show runs from Wednesday evening 7:28 to Sunday 8:1. The show's worked out special room rates with several of the hotels that are really close to the convention center. And if you go to the nsccshow.com, there's some information about that. I'm pretty sure at this point, though, they have filled up, but there is a chance that there could be some cancellations, and you can call that agency to see if you can be put on some kind of waiting list or something like that. So I would definitely go to the main website and get in contact with the organization that's helping with room reservations, just to see if there's anything else that they can do, because typically the rates that they've got through the National are definitely a little bit lower. Regardless, that's something to keep in mind for future events. Next is give yourself some time. Now you've decided to make the trip to the National, and now you need to decide how many days to attend. As I mentioned before, this show is just huge, and I'd recommend going for multiple days, especially if it is your first time going. There's nothing quite like that first time you walk through those convention doors and you see the vast expanse of dealer tables, corporate displays. It seems like it's a never-ending view. You might be a bit overwhelmed at first. I know I was. And knowing that you'll have a couple days to explore will give you the ability to relax a little bit and take it all in. Going for a couple days also makes it easier to find a helpful strategy that we'll discuss a bit later. If you've just got one day, prepare yourself for the realization that you probably won't be able to see everything. Just make the most of the time you've got and enjoy searching for those elusive treasures that you've got your heart set on. Next, I'd say come up with a plan. This show has something for everyone. So I recommend that you spend some time thinking about what you want to get out of it. Do you want to buy wax, singles, vintage? Are you more interested in filling out some old sets? Or maybe you want to take advantage of the autograph lineup and get a chance to meet and get a signature from some of your favorite athletes. Some collectors enjoy treating the National as a trip to a sports card museum and just spend time going from booth to booth, looking at the rare and unique memorabilia that exists. Everyone's goals are going to be different, but as long as your strategy leads to an enjoyable experience you'll always remember, then it's a good plan. The big thing you want to avoid is missing out on getting that key autograph because you lost yourself going through some awesome dollar boxes. Or maybe you run out of time to search for that final high number vintage card you need because you spent 2 hours waiting in line to get an auto of someone you really didn't care that much about. Come up with a plan, do your best to follow it, and more than likely you won't be disappointed. But you've also got to be flexible. I just talked about coming up with a plan and sticking to it, so you might be saying, what do you mean be flexible? Well, even with the best made plans, situations can arise that expose you to something you hadn't thought of. Maybe you find an unexpected white whale that ends up eating a big chunk of your budget. Maybe a great deal on some large lots that fill up your backpack and force you to spend time running out to your car to unload. When I was at my first National a few years ago, I unexpectedly had a chance to be interviewed for the Beckett Fat Packs podcast. I hadn't planned on spending time sitting down with Eric and Paul, but when you get an invite to be on a guest on one of the biggest sports card podcasts at the time, you don't say no. I had to cut out some of the plans I had to check out the Breakers Pavilion. And I was okay with that because I replaced it with an experience that was even more enjoyable. You just never know what might come up. So even though you've got a plan, don't be afraid to adapt. Dress comfortably and also don't stink. Let's spend a few minutes discussing what to wear and some tips on how to keep your personal hygiene from offending other dealers and guests. First, wear comfortable shoes. Whether it's walking the floor or standing at tables while looking through cards, you're going to be on your feet a lot. This isn't the time for flip-flops or cowboy boots. I suggest comfortable, supportive athletic shoes. I also recommend having some pockets. Your hands will be full enough, and you don't want to have to worry about where you set your wallet or your phone as you go through items at a dealer table. Also, I recommend bringing a backpack. It's easy to keep out of the way of other collectors, and it lets you store the stuff you've bought. We'll discuss what else you can fill it with here in a bit. It should go without saying, but unfortunately us collectors aren't always known for having the best personal hygiene habits. So for the sake of your fellow attendees, please take a shower, wear deodorant, and bring some gum or mints. Nobody wants to smell your BO or your dragon breath. Bring a notepad, either paper or electronic. Part of coming up with your plan is making a list of some of the key things you want to buy. Whether it's a sealed wax box or a checklist of cards for your PC, Having a list helps keep your treasure hunt focused. Once you've got it completed, you can see how much money you have left to pick up some other unexpected finds. And that brings us to the other helpful use of the notebook. If you're lucky enough to have some time, I suggest spending the first day only just looking at different tables. Use your notebook to jot down the item and the table number of dealers who have something that piques your interest. That way you'll know exactly where to circle back to find those deals. Now, obviously, if one of your must-haves is a rare item, you might need to pick it up right when you see it. But if you've been dying to pick up a 1989 Upper Deck Ken Griffey Jr. rookie card, there's going to be no shortage of those kind of cards available. Just make notes and come back to buy it the second time through. Now, I talked about before bringing a backpack, and here's what you might want to put in your backpack. First, pack a water bottle and some snacks. Food at the event can be a bit pricey, so bringing in some water and snacks will save you a little bit of money while keeping you hydrated. Also, bring some supplies to store your purchases in. Some people swear by a small binder with pages, and others prefer 400 to 800 count boxes and a few packages of penny sleeves. That way, whenever you make a purchase, you can easily keep your cards safe and protected. Negotiate. Haggling is common in the online and in-person card world, and the National is no exception. I suggest never paying the asking price for a dealer's card without at least making a lower offer first. As long as your offer isn't ridiculously low, the worst they can do is say no. And more often than not, you're going to be able to get that card at least a little bit lower than the original asking price. Also, as the week progresses, the deals will often get better and better. Offers on big cards that would be rejected Wednesday night are more likely to be accepted on Saturday or Sunday. When, sometimes what started as a $1 box on Thursday, it might become a quarter box by Saturday afternoon and Sunday. Late in the week, you might be able to even pick up a full 5-row dime box for $25. If your primary focus is on bargains, they'll be more abundant late in the week. The early days are for the rare or must-have items. The end of the show is for picking up the bargains to flip that will allow you to cover a big chunk of the cost of attending the show. That's been especially true in years past, and this year it might be a little bit different with the extra attendees and the growth that we've seen in the hobby over the last few years. But we're also at a stage where over these last few weeks we've started to see some prices come down on their peaks. So I still have a feeling that there's going to be some deals to be had. Also bring plenty of cash, and while more and more dealers are accepting PayPal and credit cards, cash is still the king. Some facilities have spotty cell phone reception, which can pose problems with some of the electronic payment options. But if you've got cash, you and the dealer won't have to worry about it. Use your card for the hotel, your meals, and use cash for cards. Be social. Meet people and stuff. In our world of social media, there's a good chance you've interacted with dozens of collectors around the country in forums, on Twitter, on Facebook, or when listening to your favorite podcast. Chances are, many of these people will be at some portion of the National, and you should be able to take advantage of the opportunity to put a face to the name. Many of the biggest podcast and YouTube hosts bring their shows to the National and are more than happy to say hi to fellow collectors. So don't be afraid to identify yourself and say hi. Take advantage of the corporate promos. While specifics vary each year, many card manufacturers and the other corporate sponsors will have some sort of promo running through the show. Some companies send collectors on a scavenger hunt, which can lead to some unique prizes, and others have been known to offer discounts on grading or autograph authentication. ComC will be accepting card submissions, which can save you the cost of shipping. Others have wrapper redemptions and other giveaways. Basically, there's something for everyone. So if you enjoy that kind of thing, make sure you do some research on all the different corporate social media accounts, and there should be no shortage of opportunities to take advantage of these promos. And finally, give back. While the National provides collectors the opportunity to fulfill their collecting desires, it also provides a chance to give back to local charities. This year, the National is partnering with Signatures for Soldiers. I think it's great that we have an opportunity to provide assistance for disabled military veterans and disabled children of active duty military personnel, while at the same time creating our own memorable hobby experiences.
The Sports Card Shop at MoCo is your small-town local shop with a global reach. Conveniently located in New Buffalo, Michigan. We're an easy drive for most residents in Michigan, Indiana, Illinois, and Ohio. Come see us every Tuesday through Saturday from 10 to 5 and Sundays from 12 to 5. Want to shop from the comfort of your home? Give us a call at 269-469-0140 or visit our website at thesportscardshop@moco.com or our Facebook page. Major credit cards and PayPal accepted, and we ship anywhere in the world. We're an authorized dealer for both Panini and Topps, with new sealed wax from both arriving weekly. And yes, we have PSA and SGC graded cards and over 250,000 singles in stock. Be sure to follow us and turn on notifications for posts to Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter so you don't miss out on new arrivals. The Gocher family has been serving this community for over a decade, so stop by or visit us at thesportscardshop@moco.com.
So there you have it. Those are my tips and things you need to know before attending this year's National. What did I miss? What other tips do you have for fellow collectors? Let me know in the comments below. Reach out. I know that these aren't the only things, and like I said, people have such different focuses when they attend the National. You might have some tips for the things that you enjoy doing the most. Either way, let me know in the comments below. Reach out to me on Twitter at @TheMikeSummer. Send me an email at waxpackhero@gmail.com, and let's keep the conversation going. Well, that's all I've got for you today, so I'll catch you next time.